Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good evening, humans, other than humans, felines, whoever else happens to be around tonight. We are so excited that you're all here to help us celebrate the divine feline. I'm Reverend Sarah Bowen, and I'm joined by Reverend Elizabeth Friend-Ennis. And for those of you who don't know us, we are deans in the first year of the One Spirit Interfaith Seminary program. And for those of you who are new to One Spirit, we are super glad you're here. And we hope to see you again. One Spirit is both an interfaith, interspiritual learning center, as well as a sacred community many of us call home. And so now on to cats. We decided to feature felines tonight because we realized the tension that is sometimes present about them in religious communities. Indeed, often prompted by ignorance, prompted by fear, religions have not always been so kind to cats. And society at large has not always been kind either. My Scottish ancestors likely stoked this fear, spreading the story of the cat Sith, a supernatural Highland cat who would take souls from corpses who were awaiting burial. No, David, that's technically not related to the Star Wars Sith, although we could probably make that connection later. Generations of Europeans starting in the Middle Ages associated cats with everything from plagues to occult powers to mischievous shape shifting. Edgar Allan Poe did a massive disservice to cats in his 1843 story, The Black Cat. The story's narrator, in a drunken paranoid fit, abuses a black cat, eventually hanging it. In typical Poe style, the fluffy feline gets revenge. But alas, it does not redeem the poor cat's image, and black cats get more of a bad rap. In 1942, the movie Cat People linked cats to devil worship and va-va-voom sexy bombshells. So fear-inducing and troublemaking portrayals of cats have gone to represent fireworks, anarchist symbols, symbols of bad luck. And there was that satanic panic sometime in the 1980s, something about that in black cats. Do any of you old enough to remember that as I can? Yet some ancient traditions and many of us modern spiritual practitioners think that there is a divine spark of being in every cat, that each cat holds a bit of divine energy and they should be cherished and they should be protected. Around One Spirit, we also like our really big cats. Some people call them lions. So taking a cue from this perspective, tonight we honor felines of all sizes, all shapes, all colors, through music, art, meditation, movement practices. Your furry companions are absolutely welcome. Even the ones that some people call canines, they can come in too if they want to. So we hope that you have a wonderful evening. We hope that you can relax and enjoy this. We hope you learn a little bit. We hope you have some smiles. We hope you have a chance to rest in this sacred community. Your cats are welcome to do whatever they want. And they're also welcome to completely ignore us because sometimes that's what cats do. And since this is a One Spirit event, we'll of course begin with a piece of music. A second piece of music. So David, if you can cue our duet when you have a moment, that would be great.
Yeah.
Thank you, David. I can't stop smiling. Elizabeth and I can't sing that well, but we're going to try our own duet, aren't we?
Yes, we are. It won't be as high pitched.
No.
So I am going to share my screen for a minute, and we are going to share some facts about cats.
Facts about cats. I love your rhyming there.
Beginning with Sarah.
So, did you know that it's often thought that the markings on the foreheads of tabby cats resemble the letter M, and that there is a religious folklore in the origin of the story? One story is that there was a cat in the manger where Jesus was born, and that this cat used to snuggle and comfort the infant Jesus. Mary was so fond of the cat and she loved it so much that when she petted it, her initial was imprinted on its forehead. Another story from a different religious tradition tells us that the Prophet Muhammad loved cats so much that one day when a cat had fallen asleep on his arm when the call to prayer happened, and he had to get up to go to prayer, he didn't want to disturb the cat, so he cut the sleeve off of the shirt so that he could go. Since then, cats have an M on their forehead for Muhammad.
Interfaith cat lore. And you may have heard of the Norse goddess Freya, but you may not know that Freya rode a chariot pulled by cats. They were two gray cats that were given to her as a gift from the god Thor.
I want to set those cats free, Elizabeth, but that's a cool fact. All right, next up. Ancient Egyptians worshipped at least 3 different feline deities who are about to appear on screen. Bastet, goddess of pleasure and good health. Mafdet, goddess of judgment and justice. And Sekhmet, goddess of war and healing. All of them were also able to provide protection from serpents.
Because cats have often been thought to have stereotypically female characteristics, when the church began to persecute women who practiced plant medicine and folk religion as witches, their cats were persecuted along with them. Pope Gregory IX, who was not a good guy, declared cats as diabolical in 1232. Millions of cats were killed as suspected familiars of witches, or even as the forms of witches who were thought to be able to shapeshift. And it's believed that the murder of millions of cats in the 1300s actually worsened the plague because it took cats out of the food chain and they could have controlled the rat population, which was the actual cause of the spread of the germs.
Is it fair to say boo, Pope Gregory?
Boo, Pope Gregory.
Okay. All right. Let's go on the positive side of the power of the purr. A cat purrs within a range of 20 to 140, which is known to be medically therapeutic. Yes, what we have all been saying for years, that it feels good when a cat purrs near us, is medically therapeutic for humans and for cats. A cat's purr can lower stress, relax your breathing, lower blood pressure, help heal infections, aid bone growth and healing. And I read a report last week that said also can help with menstrual cramps. Who knew?
I think women have suspected that for a long time.
Yeah, that's true. I can't get up. I have a cat on my lap.
Exactly. So many of you may have seen in your favorite Chinese restaurants these images of the waving kitty cats. In fact, they are neither Chinese nor are they waving. This is called the beckoning kitty, and its origins are in a Japanese tale that says during the Edo period, which is 1603 to 1800s, a guy named Li Naotaka was a regional ruler, and he was out hunting with his falcons when a cat beckoned him from the temple. And this is how you beckon in Japanese culture. So he responded to the cat and went indoors. And just at that moment, a lightning bolt struck where he had been. So the cat saved his life. And out of gratitude, he created a shrine to this cat. And now the beckoning kitty has become a sign of good fortune and good luck throughout Asian culture.
Elizabeth, did you know that there's an active cat temple in Kyoto? Do you think we ought to have a One Spirit road trip?
Road trip.
Uh-huh.
So we all have our own stories of encountering the divinity of our feline friends. So many of you are sitting there tonight with your furry loved ones. And so we would like to just spend a little bit of time with some open sharing. And we would invite you to raise your physical hands. I think I can see, since there's not such a big group of us. Let's share with one another our relationships with our feline friends, or our encounters with the divinity of the feline. Joan, I am just so enamored of your relaxed baby there.
I can tell you something about him. He's special.
Let's hear.
This is Nuki, and I'm a foster parent for the shelter for pets here in the city where I live in the Netherlands. So this one came last year as a 5-week-old kitten, and after 2 days, within 2 days, I noticed that there was something wrong. and we found out, or I found out, that he has minor brain damage, probably during birth or in the weeks after, because he was found while he was too cold. Um, and so the journey started with raising him, and I had another kitten asked from the same age to put aside next to him so he could learn. So that one I have also. She's somewhere here, and I named her after myself. Her name is Joni. And this one is doing well. He has funny behavior. He's sometimes more like a dog than like a cat. He comes when I call him. Um, he is often trying to climb on my lap. In his own way. He has this ways of walking through the living room, round by round, the same rounds. It's like a pattern. So he's all having kind of these silly things. So he's really different, and a little bit also my care child. I don't know how to say that exactly in English, but he is the one that I always need to keep an eye on. And 2 weeks ago, he had an allergic attack, which was very, very difficult to see because I was really in pain, and he tried to run from it. And that was really sad to see that. So he just hit himself in his beak all the time, and it was all blood. And we had a week of going to the vet and medicines, and he's doing fine now. But I hope it's allergy and not his brain. That's my worry, because he has this tremors also because of this brain damage. But I adore him. Just yeah, he's just special to me. I have 4 cats right now, and I had many before, and I adore them all. But this one is a bit more special.
Yeah, it's obvious. It's
Yeah.
obvious that you two are connected. Tell me his name again. I'm sorry.
Nuki.
Nuki.
Yeah.
Thank you for telling us Nuki's story. He's beautiful.
Thank you.
Connie, you have a gigantic ball of fur.
And actually, this is the second of, well, I have 4 cats, and this is the second one that's been on the screen. So this is Sabella. And one of the cute things that Sabella does is if I put on the webcam for the Ornithology Center at Cornell, she'll watch the webcam of the birds. So, and she's none of the others will watch it, but she does.
That's a great hobby.
Yeah.
She's beautiful.
So.
Thank you for introducing us.
Yeah, thank you. And the other kitty that was up here was Suli, who's named after a Celtic goddess of healing.
Ah.
Yeah. So.
Beautiful. Joshua, Reverend Ellis.
Hello.
Hi.
I have here Molly, and this is the box of her ashes. And she has a connection to one spirit. So 2 of the people who are here tonight know of that connection, Reverend Susie Nason and Reverend Lynn Manuel. We were in the class of 2006, and all 3 of us were part of a study group. And we would frequently meet in my apartment. And there were, I think, 9 of us in the group. And we would get into a circle of chairs. And Molly was just like wandered, and she just didn't feel like there was a place for her. And so we put up an extra chair, and Molly was in the circle. And we thought, okay, is this just like a one-time deal? And Oh no. Every single time we met, we had to include Molly in the circle. And she was like totally accept me. She wasn't jumping around or anything. Once we got into the circle, she got into the circle. So I am bringing her along tonight because she has been part of One Spirit since 2004.
Oh, what a beautiful story. Molly just wanted to be part of the circle of all that love in your study group.
Right. And she graduated.
Yeah.
So she's Reverend Molly Cat.
Yes.
I'm so glad that you brought her here to be with us.
I think she's glad to be here too.
Yeah. Lynn, you want to tell us about your beautiful cat friend?
This is Ming. I have two, but the other one's pretty shy. Ming was found outside from a person who knew a person in a Dickens fellowship I'm in. And I had lost Jekyll and Hyde, my previous two cats, over time. And I was looking for a new friend. And so I went up to upstate New York. And I was taking a chance because I didn't know, whether she'd want to come with me, what would happen. But when we got there, she was just so lovely. And she is often in my classes for my kids. And one of the great things about teaching online this year has been the animals because like I had one kid who had a really hard time. I teach special needs kids, and his foster mother would calm him down for his tutor and have him come tutor instead of being upset if he was upset to see my cat. So I called her my parrot pet professional because she was helping me with my students all the time.
Oh, that's wonderful.
She also
Yeah.
I also do videos with her called Conversations with Ming. They're on TikTok.
Oh, that's fantastic. Ming has her own TikTok.
Yes. Well, it's my TikTok, but she's on it. And it's hashtag
She's the star.
Conversations with Ming. So if you want to catch up on what she's talking about in politics or whatever's going on, you could check her out.
I'll have to look for Conversations with Ming. Lynn, I would love to hear about your furry companion. And then Darren, and then Marshall. I see you.
Okay, thank you. I have three. We had four. We had to say goodbye to one back in March. And so I have Bailey, Scout, and Dottie. And Scout and Dottie, this is Scout with a teardrop on the nose. And Scout and Dottie, they're females. They're sisters from the same litter. And Bailey is the brother from another litter. And we don't know, the mother's the same. We don't know if the father's the same. He doesn't want to. So they were all cats that I got when I was taking care of my father in North Carolina the last year of his life, mainly to help keep the snakes away from the house. And fell in love with them and brought these three cats home. And our cat that we had, Tyler, was not too happy about that. But this guy, Bailey, who was actually, he was never an indoor cat until after my father died, and I had him. I had a little surgery for him, and after that he came inside, and he's quite the peacemaker. Tyler didn't want to have anything to do with the other cats, but Bailey never gave up on him, and finally Tyler warmed up to Bailey, and they became buddies. And we always say that we're going to send Bailey to the Middle East because he could make peace with anybody. He's just the sweetest boy, and he was just an outdoor cat who ran all over the mountain. And so anyway, so we have I don't know. They sleep with us. They're very much a part of our lives. So anyway, those are our kitties.
I think cats and dogs would make awesome diplomats, and I think that that's a wonderful suggestion.
Yep.
Darren, who are those beauties in your background?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Switch my microphone. So that's Link on the orange tabby, and that was Shendong. He died in February 2018, and she just died this past February. And they were really my impetus for going to seminary and my companions and some of my greatest teachers. I found them in April, before I started in September, and it was really just in caring for them that I really made the commitment to going to seminary. And then ultimately, during my second year, they actually inspired a practice that I continue to do, and that actually one of our deans has tattooed onto her wrist. And I was in a really meditative space, and when I got up, my girl did one of her favorite things, which was to flop, stretch, and roll, onto her back, just displaying her lovely belly. And it just out of me came this sensation of, yes, my love. What is it? What do you, anything you want? Yes, my love. And as I said it, I realized that's what life is saying to us in our heart all the time. Yes, my love. No matter what it is, even if it's in, when I'm sad or grieving, it's a calming and a consoling, yes, my love. Or when I'm celebrating and enthusiastic. So the answer is always yes, my love, and it propels it. And that became my mantra practice for many years. And like I said, Melissa Stewart actually got it tattooed onto her wrist because I used it in a worship experience we did for her class there in second year. We did that practice during the worship experience. So I miss them terribly. It's a little bittersweet seeing all these other kitties, but I am just so in love with each and every one of them. So I'm really glad to be here. Thanks.
Thank you for that beautiful story. That's one of the many wonderful things about having an animal in your life, is that somehow it gives you permission to release gentleness within yourself that you may not feel you can release in other situations. So just to have that beautiful being that you're caring for be the portal for all of that tenderness to emerge. That's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And that's a beautiful mantra. Marshall.
Hi.
Marshall, our friend.
Well, I don't have a cat companion in my life right now, but I have been a cat person and a dog person for my life. And I do Reiki with animals, and some cats actually give Reiki back. And I remember the first time that happened, it was, I was doing Reiki for a friend of mine, her cat, who she still says he never told us his real name. He had all these different names. Merlin, the next name he had was Perlin. And then he was a white cat. His name, Henry, I think some people called him Mayo. He had all these different names, and she swears that this cat never actually revealed to her its real name. But I was just giving him some Reiki. I had my hands just like on his head and like kind of on his back leg. And he reached over and put his paw right on my paw. And so we sort of made like a circuit. Once he understood what was happening and he liked the energy, he wanted to give it back to me. And so some cats do that. And it seems like just the most gracious thank you and sweetness that could possibly be. So I just wanted to share that. Thanks.
Thank you for telling us that, Marshall. It doesn't surprise me, their sensitivity and their healing power. That's really so beautiful that you could experience that for yourself. And I just want to show everybody that Sally has decided for a moment to grace us with her presence, at least the back end of her presence. She normally is all over Zoom meetings. And the one evening I wanted her to be present, she's kind of holding back, and Boris is back there watching the rain through the window. Susan, I would love to hear from you.
Hi, everybody. It's so good to see everyone with your kitties. I don't have one right now. I grew up with cats and had many cats until probably about 20 years ago, and just haven't dived back in. My story is about, and thank you, Marshall, because I had forgotten about this, about cats and Reiki. A friend of mine had a cat who had a tumor in its eye, and the doctor said that they needed to operate and the cat probably would go blind. I was visiting and had just learned Reiki. The cat had been hiding in her basement since the operation, many days before I came up there. And I went downstairs, that's where the laundry was. I went down to do laundry and was sitting on the couch down there, and the cat found me and climbed into the crook of my arm, and I started doing Reiki on the cat. And then the laundry was finished. I went back upstairs, and during the night, I was sleeping over. During the night, the cat found me and woke me up, and again climbed into the crook of my arm. And I sat and gave Reiki for as long as I could stay up in the middle of the night. And in the morning, when I got up, I looked at the foot of the bed, and the cat was there, and its eye that had been 100% cloudy was now about 80% clear.
Wow.
It was so powerful. So, and then the cat was out and about, friendly and available, had returned to its regular disposition. So I went back home and kept sending Reiki remote, and the eye completely cleared over the next few days.
What a great story. The cat knew exactly where it needed to be.
Yeah, it was fascinating, and certainly gave me a healing also, and an affirmation that I had the ability to heal another living thing.
How beautiful.
Thanks.
So intimate. Jen, we would love to hear from you.
Hey, everyone. Oh, and now he can hear me. So this is Fred. Say hi, Fred. Fred is 18. 18. Isn't that right, buddy? He's Czar Alfred Rico Peterhoff III. We call him Fred for short. He's been naughty today. He smashed a glass on purpose right in front of us, because sometimes that's what he wants to do. He has a younger brother and sister that are litter mates that are only 5. So sometimes we call him Uncle Fred instead of Big Brother. And then we have a number of visitors that come in the night that hop up on the bed that can't see with our human eyes, but I suspect are potentially cats that we've had in the past, our Rudy and our Tommy. And those are special moments when you can feel them jump up onto the bed and walk around, and you look up to see who it is, and no. So that's what I wanted to share. Thanks.
Well, thank you for introducing us to Fred. I can't recite his entire name, but I can remember Fred, and I'm sure that he does see his old friends when they come to visit. It's so beautiful to hear everybody's stories, and obviously our lives are so graced by the presence of these beautiful little beings. And I think that Sarah is going to lead us into a time of offering some prayers and blessings for their presence in our lives.
I am. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, everyone, for sharing. Thank you, Feline. Thank you, Sally, for showing up for a second there. I am missing my cats very much. I'm traveling, and a friend has loaned me not only her home, but also CJ and Slinky, who have been passing through, but aren't quite used to Zoom yet, I don't think. So Darren used the word bittersweet a little while ago. And some of you shared stories about felines who are no longer in their bodies here, or felines who may be in other places. And that's the reality of life with other creatures, especially ones that have lives that tend to be shorter than human ones tend to be. We love them and we lose them to whatever is next, right? So at this point in our night tonight, we'd like to bear witness to the challenges and the joys that felines and other beings, those that are around all of us, may be facing. And the world's wisdom traditions provide a lot of different ways of doing this, but we're going to do two tonight. We're going to start with some prayers and blessings here, and then we're going to do a little meditation. So this is welcome to our spiritual practice portion of the evening. So I'd like you to all just take a deep breath. Cats, you all too. And tonight we're going to do our prayers and blessings by focusing deeply, deeply inside of us to that place of wholeness that sits right inside. See if you can find that beautiful spark of divinity within you. That place of both groundedness and floatiness, both. And I'm going to ask David if he would, we have the chat open. That's right. So I'm going to encourage all of you as we go along here, if you have something to include, to go ahead and put it in the chat. Take another deep breath. Feel the breath go in and out as you inhale. Think about that perfect combination of gases in the air around us that make our lives possible, that make the lives of cats possible, and lions and jaguars and pumas, of tigers, lions and tigers and bears, oh my. All of us breathing in and out the same air. Yet at some point, each one of us will stop breathing. Whatever species we are, our lives in this version of existence will be complete. And so we're going to start our prayers today for the felines and the humans and other animals that we have lost. And I invite you to place their names in the chat. We wish these beings a most auspicious next lifetime, or whatever's next. We include Reverend Molly Cat from the class of 2006, and Link and Shendon and Rudy and Tommy, of Zoe, Spotty, Doozy, Tyler, Max, Socrates, Catsby, Bunsen, Sangha. All of these beautiful beings, Max, Persimmon, Ruby, Jekyll, Hyde, Starshine, Phantom, Carlotta, Cleocatra, well done. Shaja, Basha, Roxanne, Lily, Stellan, Stanley, Chip, Bengal, Lee, Nikita, Luna, Joshua, Serena, Louise, Cat, Sarika, Rudy, Pepper and Mustard, and Skunky. Skunky. And I'll include Cocktail and Ringo and Max and all the cats that I have known. All of these cats, we wish them a most auspicious next lifetime. Take a deep breath, folks. Breathe in the prayers, breathe out the prayers. Now imagine yourself covered in fur. What does it feel like to be covered in fur? To be able to smell so much better than humans. To be able to hear cars when they pull in the driveway before anyone even walks in the door. To be able to see the invisible mice that run around in homes at like 9:30 at night, causing us to burst forth with energy. Imagine being covered in fur. Imagine being covered in fur and needing healing. Like Nookie in the Netherlands. Prayers for healing for Nookie. Prayers for the mountain lions who are facing the habitat fragmentation in Santa Monica in the ecosystem because Highway 101 helps people get to work. I pray that the wildlife crossing that is planned there so that beings can go over the 6 to 8 lanes of traffic back to food and safety. I pray that this comes true. Pray for the 13% of wildcats who are considered endangered species. The Borneo bay cat, the Andean cat, the Iberian lynx, the tiger, the flat-headed cat of Asia. And if you have any cats who need healing, please place their name in the chat, or if you know of any cats. If not, just hold the divine feline, the oneness of catness in your mind. Take a deep breath, folks. Breathe deep, deep breath, breathe deep. Prayers for Fred and for Murray and Billie Holiday. May these beings be free from suffering. May they be at ease. May they feel peace. May they feel full stomachs and the pleasure of catnip. And finally rounding out our prayers, we take a moment to celebrate the joys of felines and humans and all the other animals, but mostly of felines, because tonight is cat night. Please place into the chat anything which you have gratitude for. I have gratitude for Nookie again, sitting there in Joan's arms. For 18-year-old cats who are still hanging out with us. Binks the cat. Do you all know about Binks the cat who survived the Florida condo collapse and is back with Binks's humans? I'm grateful for Slinky and CJ over here because I miss Deacon and Bubba G at my house. Does someone want to sing To All the Kitties I've Ever Known Before? For some reason, that's running through my head right now. Yeah, to Milo, Leela, Ollie, all these cats, all the cats, any cat that was taken home from a shelter today to its forever home. All of these cats, joys and suffering, yin and yang, all of this messy, 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 messy life. And for toe beans. All right, we'll wrap up prayers. Take a deep breath, folks. Take a deep breath. Let your fur go. Come back into your skin. Feel the air around you on your skin. Stick your tongue out. What does the air feel like? Listen carefully. Do you hear someone coming into your driveway? Do you know they're here? Or perhaps someone in this room is sending you blessings and love. I know I am. And we offer this final prayer. We ask that all beings be free from harm. We ask that cats and bears and cows and snakes and mice be free from exploitation. May all the beings on this planet, all of God's creatures, all sentient beings, be peaceful entities. Amen. Reverend Elizabeth, I've got them warmed up for your meditation.
Yes. Thank you for your beautiful prayers. And it's really so moved about the stories that people shared of cats offering Reiki and the healing power of cats. And so we're going to do a brief meditation together. And we are going to learn to meditate like or with a cat. So many of you have your beautiful furry friends right there with you. If someone is sitting on your lap who would like to be part of this meditation, that's wonderful. And if you don't, that's fine. If you have something soft like a blanket or a pillow or even a stuffed animal that you want to snuggle, that's beautiful too. Just make yourself as comfortable as you possibly can. The author and spiritual teacher Eckhart Tolle said, "I have lived with several Zen masters, all of them cats." And we know that cats have an uncanny ability to focus for long periods of time, whether it's on a bug on the windowsill or a bird in the yard. They're so intently focused and completely undistracted. And they're also just fabulously able to rest. Even in the most chaotic environments, they can tune out and sprawl out, and they're comfortable in their bodies. And even in the places that seem like they could not possibly be comfortable, cats are their own comfort. So let's try to learn from cats. Let's try to be like a kitty. Find that divine inner spark and that divine inner peace. So I'm going to play a few minutes of cat purring, which we know has healing power. So I'm hoping that the sound will work and that we can feel our own energy resonate with the energy of the purring kittens. So I'll ask everybody if you're comfortable to close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. And as you release your breath, try to release any tension that you might be holding in your shoulders, in your neck. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, release any tension in your legs, in your sit bones. Breathe at your own pace, and with each breath that you let out, just try to settle in a little more deeply. And if thoughts go in and out of your awareness, that's totally fine. No need to pay attention to them. And maybe visualize that almost boneless quality that sleeping cats seem to have. So soft, so warm, so floppy. Let yourself melt into the surface of whatever is holding you up. Allow yourself to feel held, completely supported. And as you listen to the purr, just imagine that enveloping softness. And the warmth of belly rubs. As we emerge from our little cat nap, let's try to stretch like a cat. If you want to open your eyes, that's fine, but reach to the sky, arch your back, and stretch in a feline-est possible way that you can. And may this time of peace and resting help you to feel settled like the kitty on the lap of a goddess.
I just want to curl up now and go to sleep, Reverend Elizabeth. It's daylight where I am, but I'm thinking cats don't know about daylight. They wake up in the middle of the, well, they know about daylight, but they don't care about it with their sleep schedule, right? So now that we're all ooey gooey, warm and furry, we have to close this evening and send you out into the world, hopefully relaxed and full of cat love and purrs. And we're going to close with a poem, but before that, I'm going to ask David to bring up a couple slides. Here up in the US alone, Americans spend $72.56 billion on our pets. And so beyond that, how do we be of service to the divine feline, to the oneness catness? And I just had a couple ideas I wanted to toss into our consciousness here. So David, if you'll advance to the next slide. alleycat.org has some amazing, amazing information about cats. And so I want to bring them in here to our consciousness, especially if you have cats around you that are outside cats and you have curious questions about how to best help outside cats. Stray cats, we might call them, although they're not stray, they have their own homes. And slide 2 is one of my favorite advocacy groups for Black cats. As many of you probably know, Black cats have certain challenges at different times of the year. And did anyone, if you notice, if you read this website, it says almost Catholic right in the middle of it, but it's blackcatholisticrescue.org. So if you have a Black cat or you're really into Black cats, check them out. And then on slide 3, if you'd like to be of sacred service to blind cats, Blind Cat Rescue has a lot of great resources and needs support and help. Or if you know a cat who loses its sight and that cat's humans are no longer capable of taking care of that cat, reach out to Blind Cat Rescue. Or, of course, reach out to your local shelter. God knows there are plenty of other cat groups that need help, and many of you may be involved with those as well. So feel free to put those groups in the chat too as we close here. And finally, on slide 4, if you need to help animals of any species that are found injured or abandoned or in trouble, this is an incredible website to save on your phone. Animal Help Now. You just type in your zip code. This happened to me the other day. I found a bird's nest underneath my car with 2 robin's eggs. And I'm not a bird person, I'm a cat person, but I needed some help. And I typed in my zip code and I got some help. So if you are an animal lover, please, Animal Help Now, you can just Google it or you can take down the URL here. Will help with wildlife emergencies or conflicts and hook you up to the people near you who are experts. So I just want to add a little practicalness to our evening tonight with this, and to remind us that if we love cats, maybe we can include them in our donations or our tithe or our welcoming, volunteering, or any of the other ways that we are of sacred service. And without further ado, we'll close with a little poem that Elizabeth has for us.
I was so glad that Jen shared with us Fred's spectacular name, and that Marshall mentioned their friend who has the cat with the name that was never truly shared. And this poem by T.S. Eliot speaks to those points. It's called The Naming of Cats. The naming of cats is a difficult matter. It isn't just one of your holiday games. You may think at first I'm as mad as a hatter when I tell you that a cat must have 3 different names. First of all, there's the name that the family uses daily, such as Peter, Augustus, Alonzo, or James, such as Victor or Jonathan, George, or Bill Bailey, all of them sensible, everyday names. There are fancier names if you think they sound sweeter, some for gentlemen and some for the dames, such as Plato, Admetus, Electra, Demeter, but all of them sensible everyday names. But I tell you, a cat needs a name that's particular, a name that's peculiar and more dignified. Else, how can he keep his tail perpendicular, or spread out his whiskers, or cherish his pride? Of names of this kind, I can give you a quorum, such as Munkustrap, Quaxo, or Coricopat, such as Bombularina, or else Jelly Lorum, names that never belong to more than one cat. But above and beyond, there's still one name left over, and that is the name you never will guess. The name that no human research can discover. The cat himself knows, but will never confess. When you notice a cat in profound meditation, the reason I tell you is always the same. His mind is engaged in rapt contemplation of the thoughts, of the thought, of the thought of his name, his ineffable, effable, effin ineffable, deep and inscrutable, singular name. Perfectly fitting that we close with a sense of mystery for these lovable, little bit unknowable feline furry companions who bless our lives. Thank you so much for sharing this time with us, for sharing your cat family members with us and your stories with us. It's a blessing to be able to do this together. If everyone would like to unmute and say goodbye to our furry friends and to one another.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. That was
Yeah, that was
wonderful.
So
wonderful.
much. Good night.
Great to see everyone.
Thank you.
Good
Bye,
night,
everybody.
everybody.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Wonderful to
Thank
see
you.
everybody.
Night.
Have a good
Bye-bye.
night.
Good night.
Good night.
Wonderful offering.
Thank you very much.
No.
Yay.